Okay, so what if skipping just one coffee a day could totally change your financial future? It sounds like a super simple idea, but you'd be surprised at how powerful the outcome can be. Let's dive into this little experiment.
So here's the big claim, the headline number. Invest just $5 a day. And if you look at historical market averages, you could end up with, get this, nearly $1.6 million in 45 years. That's a staggering figure, right? And as you can imagine, a claim that big is going to come with some pretty serious skepticism.
And this is what you hear all the time. Yeah, great, but I want to enjoy my money while I'm young. Or, what investment is even going to give you those kinds of returns anyway? You know, they're fair questions. It's really easy to just dismiss the whole thing as some kind of fantasy. To cut through all that noise and skepticism, the idea was put to a real-world test, a one-year challenge to see if investing a tiny amount every day could actually lead to real returns. And that year, well, it's already passed. So what did we find out?
So that's the whole setup, right? We're pitting this huge promise of becoming a millionaire against the cold, hard reality of a one-year experiment.
Now, to test this fairly, we needed a clear plan, something repeatable, a simple four-step game plan that literally anyone could follow.
And here it is, the roadmap. First, you've got to find a platform. Second, and this is important, open the right kind of account. Third, you pick your investment. And finally, here's the secret sauce. You automate the whole thing. Let's break that down nice and quick. All right, starting with step 1, choosing your toolkit. This part is actually pretty crucial because if you pick the wrong platform, it can just quietly eat away at all your profits over time with hidden fees. So what are the absolute must-haves? Well, you want low fees, something that's easy to use, and top-notch security. But for this specific strategy, 3 things are absolutely essential. Automatic investing, low minimums so that $5 a day is actually possible, and fractional shares. That just lets you buy a small piece of an expensive stock without needing hundreds of dollars.
Next up, the account type. I want you to imagine you have 2 boxes to put your money in. In the first box, a general account, the tax man can reach his hand in and take a slice of your profits. But in the second box, the tax-advantaged one, that box is locked. You get to keep 100% of your gains, totally tax-free. It's a no-brainer, really.
Now, these awesome tax-protected accounts, they have different games depending on where you live. If you're in the UK, it's called a Stocks and Shares ISA. If you're in the US, it's a Roth IRA. They both let your money grow without you having to worry about taxes on your gains, at least up to a certain limit each year.
Okay, so we've got our platform and our tax-free account. Now for the big question, what do we actually buy? You know, picking individual stocks is super risky. A much simpler and, frankly, safer solution for most of us is something called an index fund. It's kind of like buying a tiny piece of the entire stock market all in one go.
And this picture shows it perfectly. Instead of betting all your cash on 1 or 2 companies, an S&P 500 index fund spreads your $5 across the 500 biggest companies in the US. So if one of those companies has a bad year, no big deal. You're still held up by the other 499. That right there is the magic of diversification.
And now for the final piece of the puzzle. And you know, this is arguably the most important part, automation. This is what we call the set and forget strategy. And it's designed to remove our biggest enemy when it comes to investing, our own emotions.
It's a technique called dollar cost averaging, or DCA for short. And the idea is incredibly simple. You just invest the same amount of money, for us it's $5, on a regular schedule, like every single day. You don't try to guess if the market is high or low, you just put it on autopilot and let it run.
So here's how that works in the real world. When the market takes a dip and prices are low, your $5 automatically buys you more shares. It's like you're getting a discount without even having to think about it.
And on the flip side, when the market is soaring and prices are high, that same $5 buys you fewer shares. This basically stops you from overpaying when everything is expensive. So over time, the strategy just averages out your purchase price and takes away all the stress of trying to time the market.
All right, so the system is all set up. The money has been invested automatically for 1 full year. So, what happened? Let's get to the good stuff. Let's look at the numbers.
So this journey, it definitely wasn't a straight line to the top. After a pretty good start, the account was actually losing a little money by the end of month 2. And this right here, this is the moment of truth. This is the point where fear kicks in and most people just quit. But by sticking to the plan, things totally turned around. By month 6, the account was up over 18%, and it held that gain pretty much all the way to the end of the year.
So, here are the final numbers.
Over the whole experiment, a total of 1,065 pounds was put in. And the final value of that investment? 1,532 pounds. That comes out to a total profit of over 467 pounds, or about 577 US dollars.
And that profit translates to a staggering 43.8% rate of return for the year. I mean, wow. But, and this is super, super important to point out, this was an exceptional year for the stock market. These results are absolutely not typical, and you know the deal, past performance never guarantees what's going to happen in the future, but it for sure proves what's possible.
Ultimately, what the experiment did was prove a timeless investing principle. Think about it. If the investor had panicked and sold when things dipped in month 2, they would have locked in a loss. But by staying consistent and just letting time do its thing, they achieved a fantastic result.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. That was the power of $5 a day over just one single and yes, very strong year. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What could the power of consistency, compounding, and time do for you if you started today and just kept going for 10, 20, or even 40 years?